Okay, this video is going to help people who are doing OCR graduated assessment, maths, modular, and this is specifically for M9. Okay, so this question is asking you to factorize x squared take away 25. Factorize is when you put this into brackets, two brackets. So you're gonna have, sorry I haven't done this, you're gonna have two brackets. So by looking at this question, you can see that it's a dots question. That's the difference of two squares. Now, that means that the number that's going to, both the numbers in the brackets are going to be squared numbers, or letter in this case. So the x obviously is going to times itself to get x squared. So it's obviously going to be an x in both brackets. And then you have minus 25. So as it's a minus number, you know that the two numbers that are times together, one is going to be, they're going to have opposite sides. So one's going to be a plus and one's going to be a minus. Now, as 25 is a squared number, we know that the number in the brackets has to be what times itself to get 25, which is 5, because 5 squared is 25. So I know the signs are going to be minus and plus, so it's going to be x take away 5 in this bracket and x plus 5 in this bracket. So the answer to the question is x take away 5 and x plus 5. Now this question is asking you, is the second part, and it says hence simplify x take away 5 to x squared plus 11x plus 5. Now we've already worked out the factorization of x squared take away 25, so I'm just going to fill that in. So x take away 5 and x plus 5. Now we're left with 2x plus 11x plus 5 at the bottom. Now this also has to be factorized, and to approach this I have to do a little table. This is how we do it in school. So you have product and a sum. Now the number that has to be the product is going to be 5 times 2, because remember when you factorize it, it's going to be in the brackets like that, like the top one. And remember you times everything in the bracket, and so it has to give 2 times 5. So 2 times 5 is 10. So the product has to be 10. However, the sum has to be 11x, because the sum is always the one in the x number, and as it's positive it's going to be 11. So the sum's 11 and the product is 10. Now that means I need to find two numbers that times together to give 10, however add to give 11. So I'm going to start by trying 1 and 10. That 1 times 10 is 10, and 1 plus 10 is 11, so that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to replace 11x over here by these two numbers. So I'm going to write it out, so it's going to be 2x squared, going to leave that, plus 10x plus x, because same plus 1, and then plus 5, because it's from the question, remember, here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to factorize these two brackets, okay? So what's common in 2x squared plus 10x? Well, the x is common, and 2 is also common. So I'm going to put that in the outside bracket. And then in the brackets I'm going to write what's left over. So what's left over from 2x squared is another x, that gives you 2x squared. And it's going to be a plus here. And what's left over is 5, because remember 5, it's going to be 5 because 5 times 2 times x is 10x, which is giving me from here. I'm going to close the bracket, and I'm also going to do the same here. Now there's nothing common here, so I'm just going to leave it and write 1, and then what's left is x plus 5. I know that's right, well it looks right, because the two terms in the brackets have to be the same. So x plus 5 and x plus 7 has to be the same here, and of course I'm going to check it, 2x squared plus 10x, and here x plus 5. Yep, and that adds up to that. So now I'm going to put it in two brackets without these, so I'm going to drop this down, x plus 5 down, so that's going to be one part of the bracket to solve it, the above question. And I've also got 2x plus 1, which is over here, so that's going to be in the other bracket, plus 1. And that's, so the 2x squared from this question plus 11x plus 5 has now been factorized into this. Now that's not the end of the question. I have to add it to my answer here. So I'm going to just write it out, x plus 5 and 2x plus 1. Now it said simplify. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take whatever's common in both of them, and I'm going to it's going to cancel out. So what cancels out is the x plus 5 and the x plus 5 here. So that's going to cancel out and leave me with x take away 5 and 2x plus 1. That's the one, by the way. So the answer is, where should I write? the answer to the question is going to be x take away 5 over 2x plus 1. And that's the answer to the question. Now, the next question says rearrange the formula to make r the subject. The formula right now is a equals 4r squared. So I'm going to have to take r, and it has to be by itself. Sorry, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take whatever term is furthest away from r first. So I'm going to leave a where it is. Sorry, it's capital A. I'm going to leave it where it is, and I'm going to divide it by 4 pi, because over here in the question, 4 and pi are being times together. But as I want to move it to the other side, I'm going to divide it, because as you move it changes sign. So it's a divided by 4 pi, and I'm left with r squared. Now I want r to be by itself without the squared, so I'm going to do the opposite if I want to take it to the other side. So it's going to leave me with a over 4 pi, and I'm going to square root it to give me r. So the answer is going to be a over 4 pi square root equals r. So the answer is a over 4 pi square root is r, which I've written here. And that will get you the 2 marks. And that's it for today.